Welcome back to the podcast. Oh, it's an exciting one this week. There's been lots going on in my world. We've had a graduation in London, then we've been on retreat in Ibiza. So the big question is this that I'm going to answer today. What happens when you put a group of people in Ibiza and you don't give them alcohol? That's a big question, isn't it? People can't imagine going to locations like Ibiza and not being awash with alcohol and the rest. So what might happen? Like, would there be a complete breakdown in communication? Would there be zero fun without alcohol? You'll have to find out. Stay tuned. And before we begin, don't forget, there's some big things coming up that I'd love to get you involved with. One of them being in July, I'm going to take another small group of alcohol-free adventurers and the like and take them through the whole process of going from a complete beginner to a world-class expert coach, life coach, executive coach, and alcohol-free performance coach. And that might be the last time, and I genuinely think it might be the last time, because we're about to change everything, that will include the alcohol-free performance coach from October. That is going to change completely. It is going to change. Putting it out there. So if you've ever wanted to come and train with me as a coach and get both positive psychology and alcohol-free performance coaching, July is the one. Do not miss it. Go to coachbusiness.school to find out more. And if you want a refreshing drink this summer, Authentic Brew is the winner. AuthenticBrew.com is the functional energy drink that I'm involved with that is no compromise on health. Mother Nature based goodness. Get yourself involved. All right, so what happens when you put a group of people in Ibiza and there's no drink? Well, I found out just recently on our retreat. Before that, just before I begin the story, just a quick shout to all our graduates that came to meet me in earlier this month to celebrate graduating as coaches. What a joyous occasion. 120 people from all over the globe, literally all over the globe. Australia, North America, all over Europe came together in what is just such a wonderful experience. Genuinely, it's like the highlight of our year. I feel very grateful. And a common theme that's come up in my life recently is that people want to know, how do I get these lovely groups together? Like, people are really, really inspired by the groups when they're in and around them. And there is a common denominator. For me, the common denominator is being alcohol-free. Seems to bring the best out of people. And on the back of the graduation, we then went to Ibiza. Now, let's wind the clock a long way back. I used to go to Ibiza every year as a very young person. And it was absolute carnage. Just putting that out there now. I had some absolutely amazing times and absolutely brilliant times and some awful times along the way. But it was pretty binary, right? You went to Ibiza to get drunk and the rest of it. And in my instance, we went there for, I think, about 5 years on the trot from the ages about 19 to 24. So I had a good old stint, put it that way. I had a good go at Ibiza. And now I find myself back there as a 51-year-old in a completely different space and place of my life, and have to say that once again I had one of the best experiences of my life. Genuinely, hand on heart, mean that. It was the same for me last year on retreat, and it's been the same again this year. What an absolutely incredible experience. But I was fearful about that, right? Because, you know, all the conventional thinking says if you don't have alcohol, you're not going to have fun. Right, so I'm sure many of you listening have been on those holidays where alcohol's like the backbone of what you do, right? You start drinking on the plane because it's 12 o'clock somewhere. Kind of jazz, right? We tell ourselves those stories, don't we? And you look around the airport and people are getting on it at silly o'clock in the morning. You're like, really? That's going to be the day. It's just going to be a write-off to drudgery and tiredness and can't be arseness and nothingness and limp through it kind of vibe. But of course, everyone's different. And if I reflect upon alcohol-fueled holidays versus the alcohol-free ones, there's a dramatic difference between the two. And I think most people are stuck in that conventional thinking of holidays, retreats, connection has to involve alcohol because that's how you have fun, right? But is that actually true? I'm constantly challenging that thought. And the more I'm around those that drink and the more that I don't drink, I believe the fun equation is untrue, completely untrue. Yet again, what alcohol pretends to offer, it takes away more. When it pretends to be the solution and bring the fun and connection, I actually think it takes it away. And our recent retreat is a real great petri dish of that. And we had this discussion a lot between the group. What would the retreat have been like if we were drinking? And it was a really interesting reflection for us all to make, because here we were in this incredible space and place, and I have to say the level of connection and in particular laughter from this particular retreat was off the charts. I mean, unbelievable. Like the hubbub of noise and chatter, every single person connecting with each other. Of course, there was the initial uncomfortableness of arriving to a location. Everyone came on their own, didn't know anyone there. And even I felt that a little bit. It's like, oh, we're just getting to know people a little bit. This is that slightly awkward, uncomfortable, social, anxious stage that traditionally I would have had a drink to try and bulldoze through. But now I've just trained that actually, if you sit with that for 5 or 10 minutes, it goes away anyway. And then there's a real level of connection. So it was like that initially. And then within 15 minutes, everyone's starting to connect. You can feel the energy in the room starting to shift. Fast forward, and there's lifelong friendships being made. Like, people are just going to a completely different level. There was none of the typical, hi, my name's so-and-so and this is what I do kind of jazz. It just goes deep and meaningful really quickly. But then the laughs start to flow through, real belly laughs. That was like a big takeaway from this retreat. Like just sort of taking a step back and just watching it happen in front of my eyes, which is how it works in many ways. I provide the framework, but it's the participants that actually make the retreat, is the truth of it. But to see that level of laughter and connection and fun whilst alcohol free, for me, was just exhilarating and so refreshing and reminding that I'm on the right path. Because I would argue, let's just play that same retreat out, right? If we were drinking alcohol, we would have all rocked up, and probably a few of those coming would have had a couple of drinks on the way out just to ease their way into the group. So already they're not themselves. Show up intoxicated, so unauthentic, right? Fake version of themselves. Then, to get over that uncomfortableness of meeting new people, we probably all would have dived into, the complimentary drink on arrival type nonsense, right? Then straight into the bar, because once you've had one, you know how it is. That one's never going to stay at one. It's going to become 2, 3, 4 or more, right? And that helps you over that awkwardness, as it were, that I just described, that goes away anyway if you leave it for 5 or 10 minutes, and then you're fully authentically you. But let's just say we have a couple of drinks, right? And this is just the standard, isn't it, right? I'm not describing anything new here, because we all go through this ourselves. So we have those couple of drinks to get over those 5 to 10 minutes of social awkwardness that are there anyway. And in doing so, we become someone that's inauthentic, right? And now the level's changed, right? The volume goes up very often. Not in a way that is a better volume. Like the hubbub and the sound of connection throughout the retreat was unreal. But it was so real. You could feel it. It was tangible. Whereas that alcohol fake connection, there's often a louder noise to it, because it's just not real. People are talking louder than they would normally, right? Because they're not regulating their emotions in the way you normally would, because it's like temporary brain damage. So you get this sort of louder volume that often completely dominates and domineers other people. So instantly, if alcohol had been there, there would have been fractions within the group, splinter groups within the group. People would start to peel off into their little sectors. You would have got those that are a bit like overwhelming and over top because of alcohol, I think in many ways pushing out those that were less so. So instantly the groups are segregated rather than being connected. And I think on the back of that, it would have been a completely different experience. There's no way we would have got to the level of connection that we did because there was no alcohol. There's no way we would have had so many deep belly laughs because of alcohol, because after that we all become fake versions of ourselves. So no one's really showing up as them. The following day when we're trying to do the training, no one's been asked to get up for the early morning sea swim, or the breathwork sessions were started at 6 a.m. for those that wanted to get up and do that. They were optional, but people were showing up to do that. Then 7 o'clock movement classes with the incredible Kelly. By the way, I can throw some shapes. I just found out it's the first time ever I've moved. And what was really funny was the next day I woke up and thought, my back's a bit stiff. Like my shoulders a bit sore. Oh, my legs, I was sort of, like it took me about an hour to peel myself out of bed. And then Tara burst out laughing and said, that's the dance class. It's a dance class with Kelly. She's brilliant, by the way. It wasn't dance class, actually. It was like a movement class, but it was amazing. Anyway, all optional stuff, all the fun stuff. That's not really the retreat. The retreat is my good stuff, which is all about reinvention. But still, like, those things wouldn't have happened, right? People would have sacked that off. Then we go for a sea swim. Sunrise sea swim, right? People are not coming to that. All of a sudden, people are late to the first session because they've overcooked it the night before. And then they're showing up as a hungover, lesser version of them. Rather than being broadened and they're ready to build inside their mind full of positivity, they're in a negative headspace. I guarantee it, people would have started moaning behind the scenes. This is not perfect. That's not perfect. None of that. 2 years, none of that. Not one single person. Not one gripe. Just joy all the time. This is the difference between the two spaces and places. The joy, the connection, it's incredible that we get to come together, and like the level of insight that comes from it is just it's a different space. Had there been alcohol, I guarantee it would have had another splinter group that decided to go into Ibiza and get on it. It's going to happen, right? Isn't it? Of course it is. And of course, they're going to rock up the next day having not been to bed or something similar. They're a dance floor disaster. They're out of the training because now they're behind or they're not into it because everyone's showing up as a fake version of themselves. Maybe a couple of people are cracking open a can or having a bottle of Vino Collapso at lunchtime. So they're now intoxicated for the afternoon session. They're out the game. I reckon it'd been one of those. It'd been like last man or woman standing. Like, what a disaster. What a disaster. Oh, why? Because we had to bring alcohol to have fun. Not true. It is the fun stealer. It is the momentum stealer. It is the joy stealer. It's the belly laugh stealer. It's all fake. All of it. That's why when you get real, it's a different level of connection. And our Ibiza trip this year is a reminder that being alcohol-free is the most authentic and real thing you can ever do. And when you show up authentically as you, that's all you got. That is how you enjoy life to the max. All right, I need to call it a wrap there, so I've got to go and deliver a little training session. My inner circle group right now. Have a cracking day. Keep rocking it on your alcohol-free adventures. Don't forget, if you want to come and train with me to become a coach, go to coachbusiness.school to find out more. Until next time, I shall see you soon.